Hi, my name is David Poland, and I'd like to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. Tonight, my guests are Courtney, Coulson, and Kerri Lynne Throp. Now, Courtney is the writer and director, and Kerri Lynne Throp is the executive producer of a documentary they did called Welcome to the Circus. And we're going to ask them all about this. Courtney, tell us about your background and how you got started making documentary films and your training.
Well, I started off actually in arts. I started off in a fine arts background, and then I started kind of incorporating film into my work. And so I took like a documentary film class that I got really into it. I kind of liked that it was this.
Where'd you take the class?
In San Francisco State.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then and I had this incredible teacher, Bill Nichols, and he kind of talked about how every filmmaker kind of has their own perspective to offer, and so that's what I was kind of interested in. And so I started studying, I ended up going to the New School in New York and studying documentary film.
Oh, so you went to San Francisco and New York, two
Yes,
great cities to learn
yeah.
film, that's for sure. And Kerri, you have a degree in sociology, and you've actually had a career that spanned video production, education, and social sciences. So getting involved in, how did you two meet? How did you get involved with Courtney and making this documentary?
Courtney and I met through a program run by Northwest Documentary called Recording Resilience. Recording Resilience is a youth education program for documentary filmmaking for youth who are part of the Dougie Center, which is a grief counseling center. So Courtney and I were working with young middle school age girls to help them share their story about their recent grief. And we started chatting, and I learned that she was making a film about a Palestinian circus school, and I've long had an interest in Palestine. So I was really excited and said I have to be a part of this.
Okay, awesome. Anyway, how did you come to find out about, is it the Lido?
The Lido.
Lido School Circus, and how they get involved in the Palestinian and helping the youth create this circus there?
Well, I actually found out about the Palestinian circus school first. I was Googling happy in Palestine, and I found kind of these beautiful pictures of the circus school in Ramallah. And so I was like, I have to get a hold of these people. I have to like do a documentary about this. And then when I contacted them, they invited me to be a part of their exchange. And so that's what I came for, was basically their exchange with the Lido when they kind of did this basically really crazy month-long mobile circus touring throughout the Palestinian territories.
Okay, and so then you got involved after, you both went to Palestine? Okay, no, just
only Courtney went to Palestine.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
How long did you plan?
It was a while. I planned for a while. I planned for like probably like 5 months beforehand, and then everything just kind of fell apart at the last minute. Like I didn't even think I was going to go.
Yeah, really? What kind of things went wrong?
Oh, everything. Like I didn't think I was going to go at the last minute. It was something happened to one of my crew's father.
That had to be heartbreaking.
It was like I had my tickets, like I had everything, and so I was. And I'd spent so much time like fundraising and trying to get the money to go there. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna do it. And like even like on the way to the airport, I was still like picking up equipment to borrow, and I was like, am I really doing this? So it was it was insane,
Okay, so tell us, what is it like going through a checkpoint over there?
Oh, I mean, it's it's pretty horrific.
A lot of times you can't even make it.
Yeah, like sometimes you can't, I mean, it depends. For like an American, it's a totally different experience. But like for the Palestinians, like they have different kind of travel IDs. And so it really limits them because sometimes they can't actually, they're denied entry through the checkpoint. But yeah, it's this cage-like structure. It's very terrifying.
Well, we can see a little bit of it in the trailer. We'll watch that.
Yeah.
So Kerri, your passion is about using your skills to empower youth and support women and girls, you must have really been inspired, and so as the executive producer, what was your role in getting her ready to go? Because it seems to me like you couldn't go over there with a huge crew. It might not have really worked if you had, right?
Well, I think that one of the greatest things about Welcome to the Circus is that it's a story made with one woman and one camera. And as a female filmmaker, this is so inspiring. You can see production stills on our photo of Courtney with a camera really close in with a mic. And so she shot this entire film. And I think that one of the benefits of that is that she lived with the circus school and
She experienced it.
She experienced it and was able to get access that had she had gone with a big crew, she wouldn't have been able to. So I think it's a real inspiration and a real inspiration for women documentary
So
filmmakers.
did you edit it too?
I did. Yes, I did edit it.
So it must have been a kind of a heartbreaking experience in a way for you.
Oh, it really was. I mean, it was really difficult because, you know, you see so much of it, like so much of the injustices and kind of like these daily kind of, you know, sometimes humiliations, kind of minor things, but then the major things as well. And it's just, you know, it's hard. And then you go and you leave and you feel like you have such a beautiful story. And how do you translate that? And, you know, how do you get that point across with an audience that maybe doesn't know as much or not know as much about the back history?
Right.
So it was kind of educating at the same time.
Right. So for a lot of the Palestinian children, I mean, we'll see some of them in the trailer. Some of them are 20 years old, and they've never left Ramallah. Is that
Right,
true?
and it's not by their choice. I mean, they've
How
been
big is
able to go through
Ramallah?
other cities.
Is it like the city of Portland? Is it
Yeah,
bigger?
it's pretty small. I mean, it's a city, but it's, yeah, I would say it's probably the size of Portland, if not smaller.
And they've never left it.
Well, they've left like to other parts of the West Bank, but like but the thing is, like, it's like they can't go from Portland to Vancouver, Washington, because that's the difference to Jerusalem. It's like, you know, 7 miles, and they're not allowed to go there because of the checkpoints. Like, they have to apply for like a travel permit to go.
So the two schools come together, and how long do they have to create this circus?
Less than a month. It's crazy.
Is that right?
Yeah, less than a month.
Do they have different youth every year, or is it the same, some of them reoccurring?
Well, the Palestinian Circus School, the group that, they were mostly like the advanced students, so they were the ones that were like really good, and so this was, and the school is like very new, so it was like at the time it wasn't very old, like 3 or 4 years old.
Right.
So.
Wow. Okay. So Kerri, you're also the creative director of Vox Siren. You work with communities to make emotionally engaging videos and learning experiences. Tell us about some of those experiences that you apply to make Welcome to the Circus.
Well, I think that one of the best experiences that we apply to Welcome to the Circus is we're developing a youth outreach plan. So Welcome to the Circus really wants to inspire the next generation of female filmmakers and storytellers.
Right.
We also really want to share stories about Palestinian youth with young kids so that their first maybe knowledge of Palestine is a positive one, and kind of open their minds. So we're working on a youth development program and a cultural exchange where we're Skyping with youth in Palestine and having them ask questions of youth groups in Portland and really trying to create a learning experience.
We were talking earlier, and you guys would like to actually go back and maybe get some of the young girls involved in filmmaking. Is that right? If you can.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're trying to do kind of like a
So
pen
cool.
pal thing.
Because there's probably not that much involved. They probably don't have access to equipment and stuff over there. So
they have access, yeah, but it's it is kind of limited. Yeah.
Actually, one of the my ropey in the film is now a newscaster.
Yeah, she's a newscaster for Palestinian TV.
She told me up. We'll see the trailer.
Yeah.
So you did film on location as mostly in Ramallah.
In Ramallah for the most part. I mean, we traveled around to the other cities in the West Bank.
Right. Okay. And so when we see the trailer, we're going to see this gymnasium with all the circus equipment. Is that always there for them to use, or does the French circus team bring it with them?
No, they that was all of their equipment, and they built a new school and they moved there. But yeah, that was all their equipment. The French school did actually bring like a Chinese pole, which is one of those like poles that you like swing around on, and yeah, so they brought one with there, which I don't know how they got through customs with that, but yeah, they brought one from France. So
working with the youth there must be really energizing and rewarding, because you realize how little access to the outside world they have, and so bringing the circus and the ability to do that must be real rewarding. Can you tell us about, for you, Courtney, something that you'll never forget?
You know, there's so much.
I'm sure there's a lot. But.
Yeah. I mean, definitely for me, it was like being able to kind of see like what the shows meant to them, to the Palestinian students, because circus is really new in Palestine. This isn't like, I mean, it has a very short history. And so it's kind of like most of the time when they travel around, people were like, circus? You know, they didn't know exactly what it was. And so like, it was so much for like about the kids doing it in Palestine. It was kind of like it was a way for them to kind of express themselves and tell their own story and their own voice. And like they were so motivated by like making these kids smile, because you know, a lot of them have really hard lives. They live in refugee camps and things like that.
Right.
And it was like I think that was my favorite part, just being there, was actually like filming like the smiles on the kids' faces.
You know, it takes them away from the day-to-day life and exposes them to a little bit of something different. How many crew members did you have, or was it just you?
Just me.
Okay.
So you're looking at her, yeah.
Right, and so Kerri here was your support crew, or who else was your support crew?
Kerri came afterwards. Kerri came after everything was kind of all said and done. And then, yeah, towards the end of the project, then Kerri came, and when I was like...
Yeah, but I see a partnership here now.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah, we're going to ask a question about what's next for you in a minute. So actually, I think what we'll do right now is we're going to take 2 minutes and 30 seconds and watch the trailer from Welcome to the Circus. And this girl who talks at the end choked me up. It was kind of heartbreaking. And we'll be right back.
I think all the people in all the world, if they didn't come to Palestine, they don't know what is Palestine.
Palestine in its native culture have beautiful things, and that's probably why I'm here and why I'm involved in this. I'm running a circus school in the Palestinian territories.
There is a friend who told me, yeah, they are beginning something called circus. They dance, they act, they do such thing, and I love it, yeah. First I was playing karate, and then I quit. I joined the circus.
We're the second family for the kids, and we are all the time opening up that circle to new people.
Our idea is to share. What we want is to exchange.
For the circus, there's always something else that can intervene.
What if one of us is not allowed to go? What will you do? How we can do a show without a person from the family?
You have to pass checkpoint between Jerusalem and Ramallah.
Soldiers on the checkpoint tell them, no, you can't pass, so go back to where you're from.
I miss a lot of rights here, right to live normal life.
It's not the perfect environment where you think this is the healthy environment to grow up in.
Do you think the conflict's ever going to end here?
I hope. I wish to end, because enough with politics, enough killing, enough checkpoints. The thought that the press shows Palestinians are terrorists and we're just living that old kind of life. But no, we have everything. We're just like other peoples and we are humans. I would like to continue in the circus thing and show the world how we treat people.
You know, when I see that young girl, and she's the a newscaster now?
Yeah, she's a newscaster.
Bravo.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that you there and, you know, gave her encouragement to work and do that, because she's such a lovely young woman. And when she talks about, you know, we're tired of the politics and we're tired of the war and stuff, to me, you know, you can see it on her. You can hear it in her voice.
Oh, yeah,
and
she really means it.
And they're just tired of it, you know, and they just want to live. They just want to you know what, they want to be like most people, have a job, a house with a white picket fence, come home and have dinner with the family, you know. They don't want, and all this other stuff is always going on in their life. So we also looked at the stills on the website, and they're going to bring up a subtitle of that. And what difficulties did you encounter when you were filming, who took the stills? Sorry, I had two questions. Who took the stills?
It's a French photographer.
Oh, so you had the French collaborating with you.
Yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you can't. They'll never let you down. What difficulties did you encounter filming? I mean, did you have any trouble? What I mean is, like, were there difficulties from the Palestinian men or the Israeli soldiers or anything like that?
Well, yeah, the filming the Israeli soldiers was kind of hard, or
They
near the
didn't like it.
checkpoints. That was like a no-no.
Okay.
Yeah, that stuff was hard to film.
But see, here's a little bit of a misconception is that within the Arab world, you know, a lot of the Arab world, Muslim women have to wear burqas and can't go to school, can't dance and things like that. But that's not true in Palestine, right? Is it?
No, yeah, like, I mean...
So there's a big difference, and that was probably rewarding to see.
Oh yeah, it really, you know, it really differed depending on like what region I was in, because it was kind of like, you know, like some areas they're a little more conservative, and so they'd maybe cover up a little more. But like Ramallah is very liberal. It's kind of like a San Francisco or like a Portland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like they didn't really cover up as much. You know, it depends on, it's just how religious you are. Like it's kind of like what's important to you.
So actually, the parents over there are very encouraging for the young girls, the young women, to be involved in the circus, to train, to educate, to be newscasters and stuff. They're not. It's not as you know, pushed down type society as some of the others.
It's really different. Yeah, it's really different than they make it out to be on the news.
And it's just really fun to see throughout the whole film, you know, mothers and families with their kids.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, having this fun experience.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Yeah, I'm sure. So, were you ever turned back at a checkpoint?
No, I was never turned back, but I have a different status than the kids.
Okay, but some of the kids were?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on a bus, you see the bus in the trailer, and the bus comes to a checkpoint, and some can go and some can't? Is that the situation?
Well, you generally know beforehand, is that, like, because you have to apply for permits. You can't just go like, oh, I'm going to go to, like, Jerusalem. Like, you have to apply for them, like, months in advance. I mean, not months. I think it's, like, a couple weeks for the circus.
But still, but it takes
I'm not sure how long it
takes
takes
to do that.
Oh, yeah. And, like, then it's kind of like sometimes you don't know till the last minute if everybody got through.
Well, it's got to be heartbreaking for them.
Oh, definitely.
To train like this, and then I'm the one who can't go. And everybody else wants them there, and you want them there, and then they can't go. Tell us about, I know it's probably going to be hard, but what kind of an emotional thing is that, have to deal with that?
Well, it's, you know, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because, like, at one point, like, the founder of the Palestinian Circus School, he came to all of us and said, like, I don't know if everybody's going to be able to go. Like, what will you guys do? And it was like, at one point they thought, like, only the French circus school would be able to go, and it would just be them. They're like, even if it's just us, we'll go and we'll perform as both, like, the Palestinian circus school and the French circus school, because we don't want to let down the kids, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable that, like, even a circus is considered a threat. That's kind of when it makes you realize, like, where you are and kind of, you know, the severity of the situation.
So how long were you there?
Like a couple months.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so it was, yeah, it was crazy. And, like, you know, I lived with the circus school, so it's like we ate together, we slept together, you know.
So, so you must have been just shooting on and off for a few months while you were there. And here's the thing is, I'm going to ask you this question, Kerri. Is this a circus, welcome to the circus, is this a form of peaceful resistance?
Absolutely. One of my favorite lines in the documentary is from a young woman named Coulson, and she talks about, you know, we can use art instead of violence to get our message across and show the people the world that we want.
Right.
And I think that that's such a beautiful sentiment.
So did they actually perform in front of the Israelis? Or is it mostly the other Palestinians in other parts of the area? Mostly
other Palestinians. So they toured around the West Bank, and so toured through various Palestinian cities, and then toured in Jerusalem.
So, is there any thought or effort to try and work some of the Israelis into this, to get them involved and maybe have a collaboration between a Palestinian and Israeli circus, which I think would really knock down some barriers, you know, if you can see the peace and the love that the children can have for each other.
Absolutely. You know, I think that's a really good question. I think
and maybe a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah. And so in this film, it's really, we wanted to show Palestinian circus or Palestinian story on their own. You know, a lot of times we always hear about Palestinian people in opposition, but they're human and they have a story of their
Actually, there's
own.
probably a few of them that are. I mean, it's usually in that situation there's some political people and some other things going on and some radicals who create total misery for everybody within the society.
Absolutely.
So is that kind of what you saw, Courtney?
I mean, I saw a very, like, Ramallah is actually, it's very peaceful for the most part when I was there. And so, like, I saw a very different version than the news. I mean, there's also a lot of kind of violence and stuff that does go on there. But, yeah, I mean, it was very different, I think, than the way it was presented.
Well, here's the thing is your website says that they're very hyper-aware that they're viewed as terrorists.
Oh, definitely.
They don't look like terrorists to me.
No, that's that's kind of the thing. There was a lot of like,
what does a terrorist look like?
I mean, there's a lot of terrorist jokes, but it's kind of like, you know, it obviously does offend you, like, and you know, it really does deeply offend them that this is the way they're kind of perceived by the rest of the world.
And that's actually talked about in the documentary.
And I think a large part of that is their story is being consistently shared with Israel, and it's not being shown in a flattering light. It's just being shown like this violence.
We don't see a lot of the normal people. Well, let's talk about that. You know, tell us what are the daily lives of these children like a lot of times? Well, I mean, do they go to school and stuff like that, or is it pretty difficult for them?
It depends where you are. I mean, that's the thing. It's very different from region to region. And Ramallah is like a little more upper class kind of. And a lot of the kids, you know, some of the kids there, you know, they speak French and they speak English, and you know
Do they really? Yeah,
and
we're
like
American, we speak American.
Yeah,
and I didn't say English because we don't speak English. We speak American.
High school is very competitive there too. It's extremely competitive to get into college and things like that. So,
right, because you have to show you have to.
Yeah, education is really kind of heavily like pursued there. So. Yeah, I mean, it just really depends. And like some of them come from poor backgrounds, and so maybe they don't have the same.
There's a lot of poor backgrounds.
Yeah, they don't have the same opportunities. But yeah, for them, circus is really about being able to show kind of the humanity, like of life, and be able to tell their own story.
So, what is it like to go there and see the French? How many French came?
There's 15 French people, I believe. Yeah.
Really? So they're really heavily involved in this too.
Well, it was an exchange. Yeah, it took them like I think 3 years to set up the exchange, and then it took a long time.
So this isn't a yearly thing. It's something.
Now they do it a little more regularly, but yeah, it was. I mean, it took quite a long time to organize. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so Kerri, from what you've heard from Courtney and watching the documentary, and I'm sure you've seen tons of footage that never made it into the documentary. How do you think this has helped them as a sociologist view themselves and how others view them, not as terrorists? Because do they get this feeling that maybe people won't look at us as terrorists anymore?
Well, I think that they are excited to share a story of hope and positivity with a wider audience. And I think really what it does for us is it gives us a glimpse of a different kind of life, a different kind of experience than what we're constantly, you know, shown in the media.
Well, what we see on the TV sometimes isn't.
It's very extreme.
It's always the bad stuff.
Yeah, I think this is more for us than for them. This is kind of, we're the ones that maybe are only seeing one side of it. And so it's really more for an American audience for them to see like,
well, I'm glad
you
you're
know,
doing that.
like, you know, this is really for us more to kind of challenge our perspective and the way it's being kind of consistently portrayed. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to encourage the audience to go out and check on your website, because on your website it says you're there to promote positivity through artistic expression, to promote creative problem solving, teamwork, and empowering youth to overcome adversity. And it sounds like that really is a lot what's going on. And really, you have a big heart. Both of you have got a really big heart, and kudos to youth for that. To advocate for intercultural exchange, to provide educational resources for youth to learn about basic geography in the West Bank. That's kind of weird because they live in the West Bank, but they don't know that much about it. And to show positive images of women in film, which I'm really glad you're doing. To generate awareness about Palestine and encourage youth to develop a larger world view. So do you think that the circus reaches those goals? Number one. And the second part of that question, do you think that your film and being there filming them helped them realize that as well? Because having you there filming them had to be like, okay, we're going to be seen in America? Yeah. I mean, that had to be exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what that was like for them?
Yeah, I mean, they were excited. I think the big part was just to like kind of show who they were to a larger audience and kind of like the work that they're doing. And so like a large part of it too is like they just wanted like more Americans to kind of understand, because I think a lot of these things are really hard to kind of wrap your heads around, because like we don't have these problems. We don't have like these travel restrictions and these we don't have checkpoints. From Portland to Hillsborough. So yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like being able for somebody to like to understand. That was like the major key of it, is like for them to have like somebody across the world be interested and understand what they're going through. That's like kind of the most rewarding.
So were they camera shy at all?
Oh yeah, like some of them. Like one of them who's in the film, Abu Saka, like he was like, he hated the camera and he was like terrified of it, and then like I just kept following him, and then like eventually he kind of wore down.
I like being in front of the camera myself, but you know.
Absolutely. Can I make one point about the geography? So
I'm glad you did, because I skipped over that one real quick, didn't I?
Yeah. So this is one of the really exciting things, and a great opportunity for an American audience. We've had a lot of people that aren't political and just don't know much about Palestine.
Well, all they hear about is the news, and you expect when you see the film, you expect to see blown up buildings and everything like that, and actually you don't.
And so one of the great things that the film does is not only do you have fun with the circus school, but you also get a really basic geography lesson about the different types of IDs and the different statuses and where Palestinians are able to go. So I think it's entertaining, but then it's also giving an American audience a little lesson that they don't have access to.
Right.
And so the amount of people that we've shown
this
film
this,
to, and
this documentary shows things from the Palestinians' point of view and the youth Palestinians' point of view on, you know, we just want to live. We just want to be youth and live and have fun and a circus and maybe be newscasters and other things like that. So, Kerri, you've collaborated with, is it the Doogie Center?
The Dougie Center.
The Dougie Center of Girls, Northwest Documentary, and California Schools on Youth Media Programs, okay? Can you tell us a little bit about that? We're diverting a little bit from the circus.
Oh yeah, you know, one of my favorite things to do is to work with youth and to help youth tell their story. So my first job was actually as a video production teacher in an elementary school.
But you actually worked on Training Day and A Beautiful Mind, is that right?
I did, in the publicity.
Publicity side?
So I used to work in post-production for DVD materials and such.
And so, anyway, you know what? We're running out of time here at Portland Film Beat. I want to thank Courtney and Kerri for being here to talk about Welcome to the Circus. It's just a great documentary. I'm real excited about that. I also want to thank my executive producer, Carol Poland, who's my wife, the director, Ellery Nelson. I want to thank Krista, Crystal, Jonathan, Joni Jorgensen down here at PCM TV, and I want to thank Emily and Kate at PCM TV for all their help. And until next time on Portland Film Beat, shoot for the silver screen.